Foundation, and Tessa Giles' daughter, of course, and also with us here on the programme now. Well, you introduce yourself and tell me what your relationship is with this project.
So my name is Louise Fox, and my son George, who was known as Gorgeous George because he was so gorgeous inside and out, sadly was diagnosed with a brain tumour when he was just 12, and he literally had 11 months from start to finish. That was the first time I realised how bad the prognosis was for all brain tumour patients. So now it's 18 months today without George, so I just have to try and do what I can to make a difference in his name. And I've met all these other amazing mums who are sadly in the same position I am. So 8 of us have joined forces and we've called ourselves the Angel Mums, and we're going to jump out of an aeroplane together on Saturday.
Amazing. I want to know more about that in just a second. But you feel that George would have had a much better chance at survival if the government had fulfilled its promises?
I do, yeah. So very sadly, you only find out how bad things are when, as a parent, you're faced with that diagnosis for your child. And actually, to find out that the country that you've lived in and believed in all your life is not the best place for your brain tumour, brain cancer child, then it's horrific news. So, yeah, no, I feel that had more research and funding been put in years ago, that George would still be here with us today.
Jess, it's always lovely to see you. This money was promised by the government.
Yeah, but what we're doing is we are not waiting around for anybody, and we are starting a big national movement for change, okay, building on Mum's incredible legacy. Brain cancer is the biggest cancer killer of children and people under 40 in the UK.
Is it really?
It's the biggest cancer killer of children and people under 40 in the UK because nothing meaningful has been done to drive progress in the areas of research, treatment and care for decades. So at the end of this year, we are launching something transformational. We are launching a huge national network of NHS Tessa Giles Centres of Excellence for children with brain cancer, which will mean for the first time we will be working with every single hospital in the UK, every single children's hospital in the UK, to support them to improve and innovate their research and science activities, what they're doing in treatment and care, so that all patients and families around the UK can get the most cutting-edge treatment in their local hospital today, whilst paving the way to make this disease treatable for the future.
And just remind us how this touched you with your mum.
My mum died from brain cancer in 2015. She was Tessa Giles, much loved, extraordinary Labour politician. She was a campaigner in her heart, so she spent the last months of her life starting this campaign that we are now still driving forward today. And on Saturday, these incredible mothers who have all been through the unspeakable horror and pain of the loss of their children to brain cancer are channeling their pain and their loss into a campaign for change. They are going to be jumping out of a plane on Saturday to raise money for the Tessa Giles Foundation to get the launch of the centres fully funded at the end of the year. And so if anybody is at home today wondering how they can help us, if you go online and look up the Angel Mums Just Giving Skydive page and share it as far and wide as you can. If you can contribute anything to support this cause, it will go towards making sure this disease is treatable for families all over the country.
Tell me about the other Angel Mums.
They're amazing. They're such an inspirational group of ladies. All of us campaign now in honour of our children. We don't want our children's lives to be in vain. We've all had conversations that we never ever expected to have. No parent should sit and be told that your child has a 0% chance of survival. It wasn't a conversation I ever expected. I always went in to see George's oncologist thinking, oh, well, there'll be, even if it was a 2% or a 5%, 0% for our children just isn't good enough. So we had just 11 months. Lots of the children here are similar and some even less. These ladies are inspiring, in times of our deepest sadness, where we're all walking the worst path ever without our children. We are supporting each other. A couple of us haven't even met yet, so we'll be meeting for the first time on Saturday. But we're just not prepared to give up because we know that this is happening every day to other families. Our children wanted to be here. George wanted to be an architect. He wanted to have 2 golden retrievers. He loved football and in his famous football team, Arsenal. I have to get that in there for him. So he wanted to be here. He wanted to beat this and he wanted to fight, and it's just not fair. What number of children will it take until the government listen and make a difference? So like Jess said, we take it into our own hands now and don't wait for change.
Not the natural order thing for your child to die. before you. All of these mums are all going to do the same thing this weekend. And what difference will the money make?
This money is going to fund the setting up and running of the Centres of Excellence all over the country. So to ensure that every child in the country can receive the best possible treatment and care in their local hospital.
Talk to me, if you would, in a little bit more detail about how people can help. You said that they can help as far as the jump on Saturday? Saturday is concerned, but more widely, what else can they do?
It's a really shocking thing that people don't really understand, that brain cancer is the biggest cancer killer of children. It's an extraordinary thing what can happen when society from all different aspects come together to drive progress in diseases. Till quite recently, leukemia was the biggest cancer killer of children, and that has been transformed by creating a huge national strategy, global strategy, to change that. And that's what we're beginning now with what we're doing with brain cancer, because it just should not be this way. It doesn't need to be this way. And sometimes it takes people like us to step up and say that we're going to lead the change, and that's what we're doing.
Jumping out of a plane?
Yep, we'll do whatever it takes. We've seen our children go through so much that we're not scared of anything anymore. The worst has happened. We're just scared that it's going to happen to other people we know and other children, which it is every day. So we've got no fear.
And what have you done to sort of prepare yourself for that?
Not a lot, really. No, we've got our own little WhatsApp group where we're kind of, cheering each other on. It's just, we're spurred on by our children. We've seen them go through, in 11 months, George had 4 brain surgeries, countless chemos, and treatment hasn't changed for decades. Some of the treatment that George was receiving was what my friend's dad had received sort of 10, 20 years ago. So we need to see change in the area of treatment. We also need to see change in the area of the journey, which are what these children's centres of excellence will really, really do. So, these children shouldn't be faced with what they are right now.
Just tell me a little bit, if you will, about Gorgeous George before he was poorly. What sort of character was he?
George is funny, kind. Whenever we were in hospital because you never knew that, what his prognosis was, he would always be more worried about other people in the hospital than him, and gave cakes to a little boy because it was his birthday, and he is just so missed. He was super intelligent and bright, and he really, really wanted to live his life. He had so much he wanted to do. He used to talk when he grew up all the time. In fact, 2 years ago today, we were in Germany having immunotherapy with George because, we had to take our children abroad, and lots of these mums did the same for a hope of a pioneering treatment. And George asked if there was any money left over in his medical fund, if we could use it to send him to university. So he really wanted to be here. It's just devastating that he's not.
He'd be so proud of you.
Thank you.
And he'd be watching you jump out of that plane on Saturday.
Thank you.
Just remind us how people help.
Please look up the Angel Mums Skydive Just Giving page online and come and find us at the Tessa Foundation to see how you can support us in our mission for change.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks very much indeed to both of you for coming in. Really appreciate it as always. Thank you. Let's have a quick look.